Welcome back, print crew. So the other day I got a call from my niece and she asked me to print her out a couple fidgets. And it dawned on me, fidgets have become quite the popular item. Actually, probably for the last few years. But when I was a kid, we didn't really have fidgets. We had spit wads, throwing things across the classroom. Those were our fidgets. So I probably would have stayed out of a little more trouble if I had fidget toys when I was growing up. But when my niece asked me to print her some, of course I said yes. And I'm not only printing 2, I'm gonna print her 4 or 5 of them. And I'm gonna print some extras for my kids and maybe a couple for myself as well. Let's go over to the laptop, find the prints for our fidgets. Let's go print something. Let's find a few fidgets. I already know 2 that I'm gonna be printing, both the ones my niece wants. WD-40 clicker and this gear shift. Let's go find some more though, because this is a fidget episode. So let's find some fidgets. Oh, that one's kind of cool. Rocket. I like the rocket. And we could do that in 2 different colors. Okay, I like that one. Maybe. Let's see what the comments say. You know what? Let's do this one. This one's kind of cool. There's one that I've wanted to try that I was very curious about. Yeah, this flexi fabric. All right, let's do this one. I've decided I want to do the flexi fabric. So, all right, we've got our prints. Let's start with the gear shift. Why not? Do I want to go multicolor here? The MS version. I'm not going to do a keychain. Around 5 minutes, 26 grams, 7 grams. I'm going to do 5 of each, I think. 5 of each. 1 for my daughter, 1 for my son, 1 for my niece. And I'll do maybe 1 or 2 for a spare. Let's take a look at the AMS version. So let's go ahead and open this up into Bambu. And we'll just stick with the red, black, and white on this one. And what I'll do is once this imports, we'll send it over to the printer, but we'll change out the filament over at the printer. Take a look at what we got. Let's clone 4 more of those. We've got black, we've got red, we've got white. I don't think the color changes are going to be too meticulous here. Yeah, 16 times. That's not bad at all. 34.66 grams for the models, 4.75 grams purged, 9.53 grams for the tower, 48.93 grams total, 16 filament changes, 2 hours, 44 minutes. Let's go ahead and we will not print the plate, but we will send it to the printer. And then let's go over to our printer. We'll grab our filaments and we'll start a print from over there. Let's go ahead and get in here and let's change out our filament. We're going to keep the white, which is our PLA Plus white that we've been using. We're going to swap out the blue. We're going to take out the purple, and we're going to keep our red in here. This is the Elegoo red we've been using. Valentine's Day ate up a lot of the red. So let me switch out this blue and let me take out the purple, and then I'll show you the black that we're going to be using. All right, here's the black we're using. It's just our Elegoo black that we've had. Here's our gear shifts. Next, all right, A1 is our white, A2 our black, A4 our red. Looks good to me. Let's print it. 2 hours, 44 minutes. And we have our gear shifts. Let's take a look. Next, we're going to go ahead and print, I think, our WD-40 cans. I wanted to save them for last, but I think they're the longest print, and the other 2 aren't as long. I don't know. We'll go over to the laptop. We'll decide what one we're going to print next. So we got our gear shifts. Let's see, got these fidget rings we could do next. Oh, they have different ones. Let's do honeycomb, and let's do 2 mixes. I actually decided that because this is a single color print, why not use our Elegoo? Because I have a lot of fidgets to print out, and I have a multicolor one that's going to take a while. So why not do the single color ones on the Elegoo? Why have 2 printers if we're not utilizing them? So let's create the new project. We'll bring in our different fidgets here. Got all 5 now. Let's go ahead and put them, kind of spread them on the plate. Perfect. Let's preview the print. I don't see how it has floating regions. Like the other one didn't show floating regions. Part of me thinks this is lying. You know, it's 64 grams of filament. I don't want to mess with tree supports right now. I don't think it needs it. The Bambu didn't flag this as anything big. 3 hours of print time. Let's go ahead and print this. We'll upload it to the printer. It's uploaded to the printer. Let's go over to the Elegoo. I got our green filament that we're going to use. Let's go over to the printer. I'll show you which green exactly we're using. We'll get that loaded in. We'll get the print started, and we'll get these printed. And here's the green we're going to be using. This eSun PLA Plus green. There it is right there. I'll get this loaded up into the printer, and then I'll go ahead and we'll start our print. All right, let's come in and find our print now. Let's go ahead and start our print. We'll check back on it in 3 hours, see how it comes out. Hopefully, we didn't need tree support. Back at our Bambu printer. This one's going to take a while because I'm doing 5 of them. And the way we're going to have to do this, because it wanted to do it by object, we're going to have to turn that off because I'm going to do 2 separate build plates. I'm going to do the WD-40 cans and then the red clickers. Now, the reason it's printing by object is so that we're not flushing for each red layer for the lid, and we print the can first. What I'm going to do, because I want to do 5 of them, is we're going to open up a new plate. We're going to move this over. This one, we're going to change this one. I don't want to now do it by layer or by object because that would increase the flush amount. And let me show you what I mean. If I were to clone these, let's first say, okay, preview. Because remember, I talked about the flush amount and the tower amount would be the same even when you increase the number of prints. You know, you're not going to change those. Those won't change. However, if you are set up to print by object, that no longer helps you. See, our purge went up by 2, basically, and our filament changes increased and doubled. And it's not ideal for what we're doing here. Let's go ahead and we're going to go by layer. We're going to clone this 4 times. We have our WD-40 can set up. Let's preview this print and see we're back down to 61.45 grams purged, 5.51 grams of tower for 126.76 grams. Now I know what you're thinking. The model itself is less than the amount of waste. You are absolutely correct. It's difficult, and that's just a decision you have to make. Is this worth it? This is for my niece. This is specifically what she asked for, so to me it's worth it. Let's go ahead and send it to the printer. Reason why I'm sending it is I don't have the AMS loaded currently with these colors. It's a yellow, a blue, and a gray color that we're going to be using. It's all loaded up. Now let's go over to the printer. We will talk about what colors we're using, and we'll start this print because we're looking at 126 grams of total filament, 4 hours, 55 minutes. Let's call it 5 hours. My goal is to have, it is now 8:31 in the morning. My goal is to have all our fidgets done by today. Okay, here's the filament we're going to be working with these WD-40 cans. The lids are going to be done with this Elegoo red right here, but that's going to be the second plate. Still going to leave them in there. Elegoo yellow for the writing, blue for the majority of the can, this Elegoo blue, and this Elegoo gray for the top of the can. Let's get these loaded in and let's start this print. Print the file. Let's go in, next. All right, we got blue in 1, A2 is yellow, gray is A3. Let's print it. All right, we will check back on this in about 5 hours. I think our Elegoo will be done prior to that. So most likely I'll be seeing you guys back at the Elegoo. for the little roller type fidgets. 2 hours, 54 minutes, and our fidgets are done. I'll take these out. Let's go to our laptop and let's get ready to print out our rockets, I believe, are next. Let's talk about what color we're going to be doing, and let's get it loaded up into our Elegoo because the Bambu's still busy printing those WD-40 cans. Back at our laptop, we are onto the rockets. So let's go ahead and download our STL file. Let's go ahead and let's go to our Elegoo. Let's go ahead and I think we're going to do a blue and orange. So let's start with the orange inside. Do 2 blue and orange, and then we'll come up with another combination as well. Maybe a pink and green or something like that. 2 hours, 6 minutes, 50 grams of filament. All right, we'll send this off to the printer, and then we will check back on this in 2 hours and see how it looks. By then, hopefully, our WD-40 cans are finished up, and we can move on to the red part of the can. Here's the orange we're going to be using for the inside of our rocket, this Elegoo orange right here. I'm going to go ahead and get this loaded up. You've seen it multiple times. No need to show it to you, so I'll load it up and start the print from the printer, and we'll check back on it in 2 hours. We still have 27 minutes. So in 27 minutes, we'll be taking these off the printer and seeing how those look. Let me get the orange, though, loaded in and our rocket started. You know I'm going to show the print time. 4 hours, 55 minutes, 127 grams of total filament. That includes purged and prime tower and the print itself. And there's our WD-40 cans. There's our WD-40. All right, and that's where the little goes. I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and then we'll go ahead and we need to print out the caps for these. All right, let's take a look at our next part of our print. Go back to prepare. Let's come over to our lids. Clone these 4 times. 10 grams of filament, a lot less for the caps. 10 grams of filament, it's going to be using the red. No filament changes. 36 minutes, 34 seconds, total print time. We're going to go ahead and just print the plates because we already have our red loaded up in slot number 4. Send that off, and 36 minutes, we'll check back on it and see how it all looks. 37 minutes, our caps are done. There they all are. I'm going to go put one on one of the WD-40 fidgets. I think we'll start with our next rocket. Let's get over there and talk about the rockets because we do have some printing on the Elegoo. These will finish up, then I'll print the blue ones, and I'll print some on this Bambu as well. Let's go ahead and let's bring in our rockets now to the Bambu. For the Bambu, because it is a multicolor printer, I'm going to go ahead and print both pieces, but we're going to try to do this as object by object. So we'll do 2 rockets and 2 centers. All right, and then let's change this by object. All right, it says they're too close, but I can spread these out a little more. Object's too tall. Why is the object too tall? So we're going to go purple and lime green, like the light green we have. But I have to do this on 2 different plates because it says the object is too tall. So we're going to do 2 purple and green ones. And then our favorite of the 2, we'll do the last one maybe in that color. Or we'll just do an off-the-wall kind of color combination maybe for our 5th one. Let me get these loaded up. I'll show you what colors we're using. Looks like 48 grams, 2 hours, 1 minute. Let me send this over to the printer, and I'll show you what green we're going to be working with here. Here's the green we're going to be using. We've used this color several times. This is our green Elegoo. I actually need to spool this onto another spool because it is so messed up. Let me get that onto the spool, and then I'll get it loaded in, and we'll start our print. It's not the cleanest looking job done, but I can guarantee it's not tangled. Should be fine. Got it onto a plastic spool holder, so shouldn't have any more issues with it messing up. Let's go ahead and let's go in. Let's find our print. It says blue. I'm not even going to change the colors on this because it's set to blue, it's going to print from the first spool, but we know it's green that's in there. See, green that's in there. So I'm not too worried about it. Let's hit print. Check back on it in 2 hours, see how these came out. After 1 hour and 58 minutes, we have the inner parts of our rockets. So there's the orange. And I'm going to take the orange out because we're going to be placing it with blue next, because these are going to be orange and blue. While that's unloading, let's come over here. 2 hours, we got our green ones, and we're going to grab our blue. We're going to use a dark blue. We need this purple for here, for the rocket for here. I'm going to load that. Let's load the purple up in there. Here's our blue. Let me load this up. Let me get everything put away, and then we'll go to the laptop and print out our rocket pieces on both printers. Let's start with our Elegoo printer. We're going to do an outside pointy rocket. We got our blue loaded up in the Elegoo, duplicated our rocket. Let's preview it here. 70 grams of filament, 2 hours, 43 minutes, no time at all. Let's go ahead and print it. Why not? And we don't need to go change anything because we've already changed our filament to blue. We'll go ahead and start the print. And we're going to do a time lapse, smooth side of the plate. We start the print there. Now let's go to our Bambu and let's bring in our pointy rocket. Outside pointy, open, preview the print. 2 hours, 53 minutes, 68 grams of filament, print the plate. Let's change to that. We're going at A3, which is our purple. The Elegoo, I believe, will finish first. It said 2 hours, 43 minutes. Bambu's going to take a little bit longer, 10 minutes longer. But we'll come back. Both should be done. We'll take a look at the rockets, and then we'll come up with our creative color idea. 2 hours, 36 minutes, and just as I predicted, the Bambu was done first. Of course, we did start this one first. If anyone can tell me what the stringiness comes from, please let me know, because I'd be curious to know. I can Google it, I'm sure, but maybe someone can help me out in the comments. I'm guessing it's too much heat, but I don't know. Hopefully this fits. Sorry about the light, guys. It looked pretty good. Looks good. All right, let's go see how long the Bambu's got left. We'll go over there and check it out. Still got 13 minutes left on this print, but let's go back and let's determine our next print. Instead of going to the computer, I lied. This finished up. 2 hours, 53 minutes, 69 grams of filament. We got our two purple rockets here. And we'll just throw that on there. Ooh, that looks good. Now we will go back to our laptop. We found one more Fidget toy that actually my son found it, and he asked if I could print it out. And we printed it out. It's really cool once it's put together. It's this one right here. He had us print it, and when everyone saw it, they all wanted one. So I figured I'd show you guys, and we'd add it to our list of items that we're printing, of Fidgets. So we'll add it to the list of Fidgets we're printing. And I've got it thrown in the slicer here. 187.27 grams of filament, 5 hours, 56 minutes. So basically 6 hours for this print. We're going to be printing out my nieces now. My daughter already had hers printed out. My son has his. My wife would like one. We'll show you at the end after it's all printed and it's revealed. I'll show you which color it is. So for now, I've already uploaded it. You've seen how I've done that before. Hit print, and here it is. We'll start getting this print out, and then we'll check back on 6 hours. We'll check back in 6 hours, and I'll show you guys how it looks, and I'll show you what filament we ended up deciding to go with for it. Voiceover Brad here. I wanted to go over a couple things while these time lapses are going. First, you'll notice that I didn't include the chain cloth type print in this video. That's because when I went to edit it, there was no sound to the video that I had recorded, and it wasn't really usable, so I had to leave it out. But I did include the time lapse here, which you'll see in a little bit. Also, I had a lot of fun printing out all these Fidgets. This was a really fun project, and I recommend all of you guys try printing out Fidgets on your own as well. I think you'll find them rewarding, and if you have kids, they'll really enjoy them also. All right, now back to the time lapses. And here's all our pieces for our gear ball Fidget toy. I got to get all the brim supports cleaned up, get these clips out as well, and then we'll put everything together. We'll put the ball together, and then we'll check out all our fidgets that we've printed out so far. All right, next we're gonna put these little clips in all our gears now. I got it part of the way in, and now I'll just kind of tap on it. There we go, now it's in. So I'm gonna do this with all the pieces, and then we will put together the ball. Got our little clips in. You just wanna make sure they kind of twist and move, that they're not like in there and don't move around because you want them to move. This is a pain. I'm not gonna lie. It's a pain to get these in, but there's a reason for that because you don't want them to come out easily. So you're gonna take your fidget now and you're gonna have this square part pointed up. There's several squares on it, but you'll choose one square, and then you're gonna put your large ones into a nice ball. So we're just gonna, like that. And then like that, push. So you're making a nice ball right there. Now you come over to the other side and you do the same thing with your little guys. So we're going opposite, I guess. We're going short. Short this way. Like that, okay. Yeah, you just wanna make sure everything kind of lines up here so that in the original position, it's a nice kind of all together ball. Okay, there we go. All right, and then just this last one. And there's our gear ball. So let's see how it works. All right, looks good. Only thing I got left to do is to make the rest look like that. So I got these keyboard keys, mechanical keyboard keys off Amazon. The biggest thing is you want to make sure these are like in the shape of the T here. So we'll put these into our WD-40 things. There we go. And then you just put the red cap. The short T's go this way. The longer part of the T goes in there, right there, like that. There we go. And then you just clip it on like that. Here's all of our fidgets, quite a bit of them. Start off with the gear shift, this little gear shift that I printed. Again, my niece asked for the WD-40 and the gear shift, but being the uncle that I am, I go above and beyond and print a lot more for her. And there was no pieces, no anything, this printed in place as you guys saw. Got this little fidget kind of ball thing here. And I printed several different types, from the lines to the gnarled to a mixture of everything. Then we have our rockets. And this was the special one we kind of printed 2 different colors with. I know these have been kind of popular. I've seen different types of these, different styles of these online all the time on Amazon. Then we have our WD-40 with our keyboard key in there. We have these were kind of a pain. There were a few mess ups on these. You have to be very patient with these, but they are pretty cool. They kind of feel cool. It's like chainmail, but plastic. Really cool texture feeling to those. And then of course the ball, which I think is probably my wife's favorite one that I printed. It is pretty cool that, you know, you just rotate it. Yeah. It kind of breaks my brain a little bit on that one. I want to thank my niece for having this idea for this episode. You know, my kids always ask for fidgets, but she specifically asked for a couple. And I said, well, my kids asked for fidgets and my niece is asking for fidgets. Let's just do an episode of a whole bunch of fidgets and we'll see what we come up with. So this one was for her. All of these very cool fidgets. And again, something that we were able to print using our own printers and not have to go to the store and buy. That's the best thing about 3D printing. Being able to find a purpose to print, for, in this case, for a family member who wants some fidgets, being able to print for my family, for my son, my daughter, my wife, you know, and even myself. I am taking one of these, by the way. Oh, and here's my son's, just in case you were wondering, his was light blue. But like I said, print with a purpose because it's always more fun and you'll never run out of anything to print. As always, make sure to smash that like and hit the subscribe button. ABP, always be printing, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.